On today's show, we've got our key takeaways from last night's Senators 2-1 loss to the LA Kings.
And with Brady Tkachuk returning soon, we'll take a look at our ideal lineups for the Sens.
This is Brady Tkachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com, and you will win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Today is Tuesday, November 25th, and Pillsy, thank goodness the Sens don't have to play the LA Kings again. Stingy defensive hockey. Would you say that's good learning experience for Ottawa, or is it all taken away by how boring it can be to watch as a fan?
No, it's certainly a good learning experience. You want to go up against those types of teams to see that you can hang with them, or at the very least you can adjust or stay in games. And look, a 1-0 loss and a 2-1 loss, sure, not ideal. You don't get any points in those, but the Sens were right there. I actually really enjoyed last night's game. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I thought there was a lot of really good chances. Levitan played great. Tim Stützle was electric. So I'm not upset about how that game went, but I think I will say I don't need to see any more Sens Kings in the regular season. I'm happy that we're moving on from that.
And I would also say I'd rather play the Kings again than watch Michael Markovic try to ref a game, because that was a joke, but we covered that extensively on the postcast last night. We also had a great Boots on the Ground report. If you missed the postcast, It's available wherever you get your podcasts. Levy was awesome last night, and I'm glad they played him, right? We said we wanted it before it was confirmed, and he's now continuing to build. He had that awful first start in Buffalo. The whole team, it felt like, was shell-shocked without Brady Tkachuk. It was the first game on the road. Buffalo also just has Ottawa's number for whatever reason, 5 straight wins against them. But now that's 3 straight starts where Levitan has been very, very good, which is a great sign for the Sens going forward. I'm also looking ahead at Brady Tkachuk's return. I'm not going to jump into the lines yet, but when this team's healthy, the depth is starting to accumulate because we're seeing guys step up in different roles, and you can kind of plug and play around the lineup. So exciting times ahead, and hopefully Travis Green is going to be more willing to use the fourth line when he's got that extra layer where Lars Eller's not playing in the top 6 anymore and that sort of thing. We're not big proponents. Maybe I'll speak for myself, but the deserve to win a meter is something I usually giggle at rather than take into complete consideration when analyzing a game over at Money Puck. But last night was about as close as a game can get. They've got a 51.6% for the LA Kings deserve to win. And that felt about right. I mean, it's a tie game with 10 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, they score off a deflection from Artem Zub, right? It's not like that was like a game-breaking highlight reel goal that ends up being the game winner.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I actually want to talk, because we didn't get into that part of the game-winning goal on the postcast, but are you, as a coach, saying, hey, Zub, like, just get out of the way, it's a little wrist shot from the point, or do you understand that it's in Zub's DNA, I block shot?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely fair. I think there was also a man in front there. I'm looking at the goal visualizer here.
Those are actually handy. Shot. They're actually really handy.
Yeah, I mean, he's covering his guy 24, and then 10 is right behind him there too. So I think
it's like a moving screen, though.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think that's where Zub is supposed to be positionally. Would you like for the puck not to hit him there? Sure, but I'm not upset at what happened to Zub there. That's just an unlucky play.
Yeah, it's too unfortunate, because Zub's a guy who, like, his job is to block shots and be strong defensively. Yeah. And he had a great battle in the second period, I believe it was, or early in the third, where he was just going at it. I think it was with Quinton Byfield in front of the net. Byfield was complaining because his stick got knocked out of his hands. Well, that's what you cost to go into the net is. And I have no ill will against Zub for what he does defensively night in, night out. So I just think that's an unfortunate bounce, to steal a term from a man who's on the other bench last night, and DJ Smith didn't get the bounces last night, but there were a lot of bounces overall. The ice just looked so choppy out there. Both teams are playing on it, so it's not an excuse by any stretch, but obviously in LA, they've got a lot going on there with the Lakers and switching it from concerts and everything else that goes on in the city of angels. So I think if you're the Senators, you're just getting ready for the Vegas Golden Knights, because that's a team we'll preview in depth tomorrow. But this is a team that has had Ottawa's number, both in Ottawa and on the road in Vegas, but specifically Vegas, where Ottawa's first and only win came during the Golden Knights inaugural season. The Senators have not won there since, but if there was a time to do it, it would be right now. Yes, you can note that the Sens are without Thomas Chabot right now. They're without Brady Tkachuk, Ridley Gregg. That will take a chunk out of your depth. But then on the other side, no Mark Stone, no William Karlsson, and their starting goaltender, Aiden Hill, also on injured reserve. So this is a Vegas Golden Knights team. They did have a 6-game point streak, kind of like Ottawa, where they've been accumulating points through overtimes. They haven't necessarily been winning games, only 3 wins in their last 10. Does that give you a bit of a different vibe going into this game, or do you see that jersey and just go shell shock?
Yeah, I see the jersey, I see the barn, and I just
the pregame intro.
Yeah, everything I don't like about it. Now, if the Ottawa Senators were fully healthy and their captain, a top 4 defenseman, and a forward that they rely upon, and Ridley Gregg also wasn't injured, I think I'd like the chances more. But I'm not going to say it's a SL. Not going to say it. Not going to say it. But I will not be going to FanDuel to place shekels on the Ottawa Senators anytime they're in Vegas up against the Golden Knights. Let me just say that.
No, but you can go to FanDuel and check out Tim Stützle's shot prop.
Yeah, prop bets is probably what I'll be doing, Ross. Yes.
He hit his last night, and he's usually about plus 300 to get 4 or more shots. And in back-to-back games now, he's got 4 shots on goal. So Timmy's flying out there, man. That's 3 straight games. Every game on this trip, Tim Stützle's played over 22 minutes. That's well above his season average. His season average is just over 20 minutes. So he's been playing 2 extra minutes every single night on this trip. You're not worried it's going to catch up to him?
No, I mean, this guy puts so much into his conditioning. I'm pretty sure, I forget where I saw that he hired a private chef, so he's got his nutrition game up. Like, he wants to win so badly. Now, should you be doing it all the time? I guess maybe you should be dialing it back. But in games where it's 1-goal games, Ross, that's who I want out on the ice, because gone are the days where Tim Stützle is a defensive liability. Gone are the days where you have to have a winger that can take faceoffs for him. Like, he's a physical player. Gone are the days where you won't shoot the puck you just mentioned. Like, this guy can do it all. So if I'm trailing or it's a close game, there's no one, maybe Jake Sanderson when he's at his best, but he's been not quite. He's been good, not quite prime Jake Sanderson. But when he is at his best, there's no one on this team, Brady Tkachuk included, that I trust and want out there more than Tim Stützle.
So the Senators did score a power play goal in each of the last 2 games on the road before last night, and they also scored a power play goal against Boston. So they have a power play goal in 3 of their last 5 games, but they also are 3 for their last 34 with the man advantage. How concerned are you about that? And is there a quick, or not easy, but a fix that you think could make a difference?
Okay, start with concern level. Mildly concerned. We saw this power play pop off at the start of the season, and it was number 1 in power play percentage for a short bit of time there, in top 10 for most of the season, honestly. So this has been a dry spell. How easily can it be fixed? I got a solution, Ross.
Ooh.
Number 7, Brady Tkachuk.
Get the 7 horse.
Get the 7 horse out of the stable. Brady Tkachuk will do wonders for this power play, in my opinion. Having that net front presence that he provides, if you get those defensemen, Sandy, once Chabot comes back, getting those low shots through traffic with Brady as a screen, getting a tip, deflection, or the goalie makes a pad save, juicy rebound right there for Brady, or just having Brady there able to out-battle defensemen and other penalty killers to scoop up that loose puck and keep the cycle and movement going. I just think adding Brady Tkachuk to any of these power play units, obviously he's going to probably go on the first one, but even if they put him on the second one just to kind of spread the wealth a little bit, he's a guy you want out there with the man advantage. So I think that's going to, maybe it won't be an immediate easy fix, Ross, but I do think it's going to have an impact.
And it has to, because this power play is 31st in the National Hockey League since November 1st. So in the last 25 days, and they're still 11th in the league. That's how high of a start they came out flying. But Brady's return makes the question come to the forefront. Now, we believe Brady Tkachuk will be back on Friday in St. Louis. But I also know this guy's got a flair for the dramatics, and he might come out of that tunnel tomorrow night.
Oh, stop. I don't want that.
We got to be ready for it, though. And if Brady Tkachuk comes back, how do the Senators' forward line shake up? Does Batherson go back with Cousins, or do you load up that top line? We'll discuss it next. We'll wrap up today's show with a Senators prospect update, including what the next couple of days are going to look like for me here in Manitoba. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or you want to ride that hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score the next basket to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for your shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And like we mentioned, maybe you're not feeling too hot about your team getting the win, but you can always turn to prop bets, shots on goal, saves, a goal in the first 10 minutes from either team, over, under. You can mix it up with FanDuel. That's why we love it. And if you're new to FanDuel, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
All right, Pillsy, the Ottawa Senators wake up this morning, the only Canadian team in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, there's lots of time, and there's not a lot of gap between in and out.
Wait, let's get to this, because I just celebrated, but I don't know, is there people out there that are still on the Team Canada train? Like, I want all the Canadian teams to do good. I want to see a Canadian team win the cup. Now, I find myself on different sides of that, depending on how things are going. Like, I wouldn't have been upset if the Oilers won one of those cups, mostly because it's nice to see different Stanley Cup champions, back-to-back Florida Panthers. Don't love that, especially a division rival. And it'll be nice to get a different team other than the Montreal Canadiens as the last Canadian team to win it. Basically, if it's, I'm rooting for the Jets. I've always been rooting for the Jets. If it's Jets, Canucks, Flames, Oilers, I'm cool with it. Leafs,
Canucks fans are slapping in the face for even mentioning that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think Calgary fans are taking that too seriously.
No,
either.
but at least they know where they're at.
Yeah. The Canucks are
a mess.
They're a mess. Maybe we'll have to give our Locked On Canucks host Kyle a therapy session, just like he had to do for us in the postcast last year.
I also was going to say later on, whether it's this week or going forward, we could have a conversation about shopping in Vancouver, because Elliot Friedman reported, look, Quinn Hughes not available as it stands right now. Ottawa, I would hope, would make a call if that was the case. 31 other teams should be making a call just to check in. Hey, we've got one of his best friends.
What would it cost, though? Like, my God. Like, for the Canucks to do that, they're basically saying we're blowing it up and we need to acquire as many assets as possible. Like, if they do that, they might as well try to trade Batherson, too. Like, just blow the whole thing up.
I thought you were going to say they may as well move the team. Like,
No, come on now. No, Vancouver's an awesome spot. You can't move that team.
awesome spot, but they've been run into the ground. Like, they have such a great roster, in my opinion, or at least a good roster when you have an elite talent like Quinn Hughes. But Elliot Friedman was reporting that they are starting to listen on veterans. And you know which name caught my eye? Connor Garland.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I think he'd fit the way the Sens like to play.
Definitely.
Where
Now,
he is just in your face all the time.
It's crazy the game he plays with the size that he is, though. You got to give it to him. He is a feisty, scrappy dude out there. And yeah, I mean, that if he can produce to the level he has, that contract's not terrible.
No, I think he does have some term left on it, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah. But he's also, no, it's the last year.
Oh, okay.
So you got an expiring contract. He makes basically the same. Makes the same amount as Drake Batherson. No, it would be a rental situation, at least to start, for sure. Sens aren't quite in that spot, but the reason why it's worth bringing up is that Steve Stais, by all accounts, is in on something. Elliot Friedman keeps saying in 32 Thoughts, he's like, the Sens would like to do something big, but to do something big, you have to have the assets that you're willing to move the other way. And the cupboards, they're not full. They're not empty, but they're not full. Prospect update later on. There are some very good stories in the Senators prospect world.
Well, I think this leads nicely, Ross, into our discussion about what the lines are when Brady's back, because you start looking at when this team's healthy, all roster spots are accounted for, and you even have to make some hard decisions about guys that should be in elevated roles, but just with the way the lineup shakes out, you're going to have to bump them down. So that makes the question or the idea of adding someone to the top six, obviously it's fun. It's a great idea. You want to add good players. I'm all on board for that. But how does it affect this roster? Well, we're going to see a top six, a top line player be added to this roster, and we're going to see how that affects the overall lineups.
Okay, so I'm glad that you brought that part of it up, because it gives me a little bit of pause here when I'm looking at how things should shake out. But it also really caught my attention. Elliot Friedman, as well, on 32 Thoughts with our good friend Kyle Bukauskas, was saying his main thing about the Sens was when Stephen Halliday's name came up, he brought it up, and he's like, I've heard from a lot of people around the league that are like watching him closely in the AHL, that he could be a player. Like, I think they're going to be taking some calls on him. Now, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be of interest to other teams. And I love that kid. I think he's an awesome dude, and I think he's going to be a player in this league. The hockey IQ is too good not to be. But that's the type of player that if you're the Senators and you're looking to be better this season, and you've got your top three centermen locked in now, all for the next 4 years, that's who teams are going to be asking for.
And do you think this could have been a bit of a showcase, Ross, for Halliday? Because Lars Eller was day-to-day, but he ended up playing every game, right? I don't even think Eller missed
they moved him to the wing.
And they move him to the wing, and they put Stephen Halliday there on a West Coast trip, so you get some different eyeballs looking at that. Maybe teams that are looking to make trades in the West get to see that. So that's interesting. And yeah, that is the type of player that would add some value and other teams would look for. But again, that's also a guy, and obviously you want top six players, but I wouldn't feel great about moving on from him, because we believe in him, especially with how he's been better defensively, and he's got a lot of skill and a lot of potential.
Yeah, he does. But to answer your question, I don't think it's a showcase. He's leading the AHL team in scoring. Like, he deserved this call up.
No, totally. But like, what I'm saying is positionally, that wasn't the position of need for a call up, right?
Right. Well, Lars Eller, though, did miss the practice before, so maybe they just wanted to make sure, because without Ridley Gregg, he's the natural option to shift from wing to center. So those two were the question mark. So it's like, well, what's the other option? Like, Nick Cousins used to play a bit of center, but he's just not a centerman at this point in his career. So there wasn't really another natural option for Ottawa to get. Like, at least we're past other fan bases, or at least like reporters league wide that are like, oh, move Giroux in the middle. It's like, no.
I was waiting for you to say it.
No. How many injuries did Ottawa have down the middle? It was like no Stützle, no Pinto, and Drew is still at right wing. He's a right winger right now, whether you like it or not, but he's still the best faceoff man in the league. I quickly mentioned on the postcast, but it's worth noting again. He went 67% in the dot last night, and his average went down for the season. This is a ridiculous run that he's on. He's 7.5% better than any other player that's taken over 100 faceoffs this year. Jonathan Taves of the Winnipeg Jets is in second. But speaking of centermen, Tim Stützle is lock and key, your number one center. That ain't changing. We've seen Brady Tkachuk on Tim Stützle's wing a ton in the last couple of seasons. Timmy and Brady have played together, I would say, the majority of the time. The question is, does it make sense to load up that top line with Brady Tkachuk, Drake Batherson on Tim Stützle's wings? LOSB stats department has been diving into this one, and I took out this season because I wanted a true 3-year sample. And obviously with Brady playing only 3 games, you weren't going to get that in its totality by doing that. So if you go from 2022 until the end of last season, the line of Stützle, Tkachuk, Batherson has played almost 500 minutes together. The score in those minutes is 25 goals for Ottawa and 29 against. So they're actually -4 in goals when those 3 are out there. Now, different circumstances and everything, but between that, a 46% goals for percentage, a 53% expected goals percentage, so they are controlling more than they would. Does that make you think that they shouldn't be together?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, definitely. Like, when we were doing this exercise, I was like, oh, easy. Brady, Timmy, Batherson. Move on to the next line. But part of me thinks maybe it wouldn't be the worst decision to have Brady play on that second line and keep Perron up there with Timmy and Batherson, just because that second line starts looking a little bit weak, or at least weaker, with how this lineup shakes out. Now, I know Zetterlund's heating up, 2 goals in 2 games, but...
So you're going more likely that you would keep Stützle with Batherson rather than bring Stützle back with Tkachuk and move Batherson with Dylan Cousins?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Stützle and Batherson have been great together. They
totally
co-lead this team in points with Timmy with 21, Batherson with 20. Like, Batherson is a
missed 3 games too.
Yeah, like
we've been waiting for that. Now, the one thing I'll mention too, though, about that line, those 3 together, the last 3 seasons, not including this year, their on-ice save percentage is .891. So that could also play into the whole goals against thing.
Well, and Ross, I'm worried if you put Brady back on Timmy's wing, he's going to resort back to not shooting the puck, and he's going to try to feed Brady, which is good. But Timmy's got a better shot than Brady, in my opinion. So I want him to be thinking, I need to be the guy that shoots it. And I mean, Batherson could rip it too, not trying to take anything away from him. But I just think Timmy might resort back to those old ways of being like, ooh, I got to get that puck to Brady so he can be the one to shoot it. And that concerns me because I don't want Timmy to switch up anything that he's doing right now.
So because they've been tied at the hip, Batherson and Stützle, over the last while, they've actually, in the last 3 years now, including this year, they've played more together than Brady and Timmy at 5-on-5. Isn't that interesting? 747 minutes versus 676. The score with Brady and Timmy with someone else than Batherson, they're +2 in goals. But with Timmy and Batherson without Brady, they're +9 in goals for. So lots to consider.
I'm keeping those 2 together for sure.
Okay. Well, my answer is coming up after the break. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Gametime. Hockey season is here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real. Getting tickets, it can be a total headache sometimes between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team, the Ottawa Senators. That's where Gametime comes in, though, the app that gives the fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast easy, and stress-free. I'm heading to Winnipeg to go to a game, boots on the ground with Ross. And of course, we're going to go to Gametime to find the best seats. And you can find great seats on the road with the Sens, at home with the Sens. So you got to use the app that is made for fans. What you see is what you pay. No hidden fees at checkout. They got zone deals. You pick the section. Gametime picks your seats, and you save big. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go.
All right, Pillsy, we're diving into what the Senators lineup would and should look like when Brady Tkachuk comes back. And we made a graphic where we put everybody in healthy. We don't know really what the status is of Ridley Gregg. Seems like day to day, but he hasn't been on the ice. It's a bit precarious. Seems like he's still on the trip, which would be a good sign to assume that he will be back sooner rather than later. But just as an aside, I put Jake Sanderson included in this in the last 3 years. When Tim Stützle, Drake Batherson, and Jake Sanderson are on the ice together at 5-on-5, the score is 18-5 for Ottawa.
Yeah, I mean, those are good players. You want them playing together. That's nice.
Only 5 goals against in 224 minutes.
So what I'm hearing is Ross Levitan wants to put Jake Sanderson on the left wing with Timmy and Batherson.
He would fly. He would fly. And his old man used to be a forward. He could teach him a thing or two. He'd learn quick. But then the D-core, we need Quinn Hughes.
Well, put Brady on D.
No, Quinn Hughes.
Oh, yeah. Stephen Halliday, Quinn Hughes, 1-for-1.
No, come on. You want to trade Halliday?
Oh, okay. Well, to have Vancouver throwing a pick.
For Quinn Hughes. Sorry, Allie. I'll pack your bags for you. Love you, buddy. But if Quinn Hughes coming to Ottawa with an extension, let's go. All right. That's such dreamer talk. But more realistically, my answer is you put those 3 together, at least to start. You see how it looks, because those two in Stützle and Batherson are just playing such great hockey right now. And you know that Brady's going to come shot out of a cannon when he comes back. So when I look at that, like, the hands might not be where his typically are, but I think the skating will be elevated. And they talked on the broadcast last night, Prime Monday Night Hockey, and they watched the morning skate and everything before. And Jody Shelley was in awe of how good Brady Tkachuk looked in the morning skate. Like, he said he was all over the ice. So I just look at Brady and I say, Brady, don't try to do too much. Don't try to be stick handling. We know that you're starting to shoot from distance. You did a lot better at that last year, and scoring on the rush different ways. You're F1. That's it. Bang bodies, create space. And Timmy, do not change a thing. Shoot the puck at all times. Brady, just get to the net and have that second, third opportunity looks. Because the other thing that Brady's really good at, he's great in front of the net when you got a battle, but he's also good at those retrievals, whether it's like a shot that gets tipped, it's in the corner or bounces behind the net. He's going to come out of that pile 9 out of 10 times with the puck. So when you have that disturber on the line, I think it'll even open more space for Stützle and Batherson to do their thing offensively. That's my reasoning why Stützle, Tkachuk, Batherson should be a line on Friday in St. Louis.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, Perron was kind of designed to do the things that Brady does, right? Obviously, he doesn't do it at that level, but that was the idea there.
Yeah, bit of slow motion at this point. No disrespect. I mean, Perron's played 1,200 games, and he is a plug-and-play type player, though. And I put him on the 4th line for now. This is, of course, assuming Ridley Gregg is healthy. We know that Cousins and Perron have played well together in the past. Dylan, that is. I know we've got him on the line if you're watching on YouTube with Nick Cousins. Which would bring a different element, maybe a little rattiness out of Perron's game, because he's had a bit of that, but not nearly as much as was advertised. He hasn't cross-checked anyone in the head anytime recently.
Yeah, definitely not.
But I think the other lock and key is you're not touching the line of Pinto, Amadio, and Giroux.
Travis Green, when you're doing the lineup, you got the whiteboard there. Move the whiteboard over. Bring in a granite tablet
slab,
and chisel in Amadio, Pinto, Giroux, and have scholars thousands of years from now be like, oh, damn, the Senators really went with Amadio, Pinto, Giroux for quite a while here. Still holds up in history. Do not touch that line
Still
whatsoever.
holds up in history. The hieroglyphics,
Yes.
generations from now, will say, holy smokes, did you see how good those guys play together? You only have to move the minimum ice time for any line in the NHL to 70 minutes. And that's the best line in hockey. Like, you would think that there would be some line out there that would have just had a spark really quickly and only played a few games together. No, the best line in hockey in terms of expected goals percentage, more chances for than against, is that line. And it's 3% better than anybody else. And the line behind them has only played 72 minutes. If you move it to 100 minutes, it's Carolina's top line, a known wagon. And that's the Aho, Jarvis, and Svechnikov line. And they're at 64.9. They're 5% better than the second best line in hockey in terms of generating more chances for than against. So that line ain't going anywhere. Per 60 minutes, how wild is this? That line is averaging more than 3 goals per 60 minutes, and goals against per 60 minutes, they're at a sparkling 1.38. They are the best defensive line in the National Hockey League, and it's going to be amazing to see, especially if they go head-to-head, and they might. Maybe you look for a matchup against Eichel with the Pinto line, but the second best defensive line at 5-on-5 in the league is Vegas's second line of Tomas Hertl with Pavel Doropiev and Mitch Marner. So you look at that company that the Pinto line keeps, super, super impressive. The third best line defensively is Suzuki, Slavkovsky, and Caulfield, and they're averaging 1.8 goals against per 60. 1.38 is ridiculous. That line ain't going anywhere. I move Eller back to center.
Of course.
On the fourth line, no surprise there. I thought about Ridley Gregg, like, especially coming off an injury. Eller's actually been like a nice winger. Like, he's protecting the puck well on the wall, and he's making some plays out there. So I'm okay either way. Like, I know that they've had Eller with Cousins and Zetterlund. I wouldn't even mind if they stay together. We should really be having a conversation, with no disrespect to Dylan Cousins, who's been playing great hockey, and no disrespect to Fabian Zetterlund, who's got goals in back-to-back games. But that Pinto line's a second line on this team, and ice time would confirm that as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, Ross, let's keep them as a third line so we can brag even more. Like, this is our third line. Look how good they are.
Third line in hockey. Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have the decision to have Greg as that left winger on the second line, and that unfortunately bumps David Perron down to the fourth line. And it's not a demotion, it's just a numbers game there, because while Perron hasn't exactly been lights out, I've liked his game. He knows his role. He does it well. Like we talked about, winning those puck battles, getting into the corners, doing the dirty work. But I just think you need to give Greg those opportunities to get better. He's the younger player. You've got him signed to term. We know what he can do when he is playing at his best. So honestly, it's more a situational decision that I decided to keep Greg up there and bump Perron down.
And it's also a decision that Travis Green has made within games. Last night, Nick Cousins played 2.5 minutes with Stützle and Batherson. Giroux played 2 minutes with Stützle and Batherson. So they are kind of rotating in occasionally. And like, that doesn't sound like a lot of ice time, but then like, it was only 7 minutes and 20 seconds that Perron was out there. So half the amount of time for other guys getting opportunities to play with Stützle and Batherson. Pillsy, good problems to have when guys are healthy, and knock on wood that new guys don't enter the infirmary as others come off, because we still haven't seen the full Ottawa Senators this season. Drake Batherson missed the same amount of games that Brady played. It was 1 in, 1 out, a little carnival ride there where you get off, you get on. Unfortunate, but we'd love to see those guys in the lineup together. We'll have a full game day preview on tomorrow's show. Quick prospect update, though, and I'm going to be leaving right after. That's why I got the button-down shirt on, going right to the rink, Canada Life Center, Belleville, taking on the Manitoba Moose. I'm so excited. It'll be my first live viewing ever of Carter Yakimchuk. So I'll be dialed in every shift, watching how often he's out there, watching the interactions on the bench with David Bell, who I spoke with yesterday, and he's just raving about the work ethic of Yak. So I'm really excited to see him. I'm also going to throw a little bonus locked on player to watch for the Belleville Sens, Jabril Toure. This guy fascinates me. He is an enormous human being. He's mean, he's physical, but I want to see how much better his puck handling is, because that was the knock as a big guy growing into his size. Really curious to see how that shakes out. What else should I be watching for? You got anything I got to keep my eye on today?
Look out or be locked on, Ross, to my new adopted son, Xavier Bourgault. He's been good, and he continues to play well here. Now, obviously, without Stephen Halliday, he's missing his disher, but I want to hear a scouting report on Bourgault, because I think he's having a really nice renaissance season.
Yeah, I'll get that for you. And our guy Pistol Pete, I was playing around. I chatted with him for probably a good 15-20 minutes. He's such a likable guy.
Yep.
And I almost stole his stick. I grabbed it from him, and I was like, dude, I just broke mine in beer league last week. Like, can I have? He's like, I only brought 3 on the trip. Like, I almost was gonna ask him, be like, hey, if you break it, can I have it? Like I did with Igor's.
The collection.
I actually have. I was fishing something out the other day, but this is from his shootout goal here, our penalty or
winner.
Shootout winner. Yeah. So, but yeah, Pistol Pete's a beauty, and he's playing center all year this year. He said he's been in the middle, so snapping it back. He's also like sneaky big dude.
Oh yeah.
Now, I was just in shoes, and these guys that I was chatting with were getting off the ice, so they were in skates. So it obviously gives them a little bit of the stiletto look, but. Yeah, big dude, and I'm excited to see no Tyler Boucher on this trip. And quick update, and it was actually really good that Matt Sogard came back when he did. Hunter Shepard's got a minor injury. I know you and I were talking about that, wondering, because they called up Jackson Parsons. He played well. It's like, oh, are they just rotating 3? No, they are going to they're going to figure it out once Hunter Shepard's back, but he's not on this trip either.
Yeah, I mean, and Jackson Parsons kind of fell down to earth, allowing 7 goals up against Laval Rocket.
Dude, it was
but he's
3-2 after 2 periods. It was just in the third. They just stepped on them.
Yeah, but his numbers are still good. He's still 3-1 in the AHL, and he's still a guy I have a lot of faith in. So it's going to be interesting. You're probably going to get to see both Mads and Parsons, so that's fun.
It's probably confirmed by now. By the time you're listening, it is for sure. Mads told me starting today. So it's a 10:30 a.m. game here, 11:30 Eastern time. So if you want to listen to it right now, go tune in. Make sure you're still playing Locked On Senators in the background, and then go play it again to catch up on what you missed. But yeah, it'll be on Belleville Sens Radio Network. I'll be doing color commentary with footy. Annual tradition at this point. So really excited. Always look forward to Belleville coming here. Only other note, and we already talked about the Wisconsin Sens, how great their weekend was. They moved up in the polls, the Division I men's hockey polls, from 7 all the way to number 2. They're the number 2 team in the country after going into Michigan State, which was the top ranked team, and beating them twice. So they moved down to 3rd. Michigan moves up to number 1, and Wisconsin went 1-0-1 against Michigan on the road last weekend. So hell of a start. We got to get their head coach on. That's something I'm going to work on doing in the next little while. Mike Hastings, exactly. And it was great weekend for Blake Montgomery in particular, who has now settled in to the NCAA. I shot him a note, and he sent me back one of the hang tight. Like, this guy, all-time vibes. Missed any of our hang loose. If you missed any of our interviews with him, he is such a vibes guy. So love to see that. Another vibes guy, Hoyt Stanley over in Cornell. They started their season really late, Pillsy, but Hoyt's been playing 23 minutes a night, and they're 6-2. He's got 2 assists in 8 games. He's the type of guy where he's never going to get the fanfare because he's just steady Eddie. He's going to be a key part of Belleville, I think, as soon as maybe even next season, maybe 2 years from now. But he, to me, just slots in as like a perfect stay-at-home third pair guy. He skates unbelievably well. So just want to give some love to Cornell because they snuck in here to the top 20 as well. They moved from 19 to 17 after the weekend. So good on our guy, Hoyt Stanley. Want to give some love to him.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's great how there's so many Sens prospects in college hockey these days. It's
tons. Wild. I think 14. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Moncton Wildcats defenseman Eric Wallenius, 5th round pick, came over from Finland. Enormous human being as well. 6'4", 235. He's got a +11 rating in 20 games, 4 points, 29 PIMs. Stay-at-home type defense, and feels like a bit of a theme for Ottawa. They got a lot of stay-at-home defensemen in the system. And then they got Yak, who is the opposite, who is a riverboat gambler. But nice to see that he's settling into the QMJHL. And Moncton, I believe, no, they hosted the Memorial Cup last year, right?
Yeah, I don't think Kelowna hosted.
Kelowna's no, that's this upcoming season. It was last year, I think, in out east. Well, I don't think it was Moncton though. Is Rimouski? Anyways, I don't think it really matters for this conversation. I know that Moncton was in the Memorial Cup last year, and they're going to want to have a good team again this year. So we'll see how Wallenius continues to develop. Any other prospects you wanted to hit on?
I'll just give Owen Beckner another shout out here as he continues to have a good season, 15 points in 14 games. And he had an assist last weekend helping his Colorado College team beat University of Minnesota Duluth in overtime. So that's a guy to just keep an eye on, Owen Beckner there.
Yeah, and he's going to the Spangler Cup over Christmas.
Yeah, that's awesome.
With the selects, the NCAA selects. We're not calling the U.S. selects. This guy's from BC. Let this guy live. He's sick, though. Really, really nasty. All right, I'll have a scouting report on the Belleville Senators. I got to run. I got to get there for puck drop. Let's go. Footy's going to be like, oh, I've done this 400 times alone. I'll be okay. But no, I got to get there and be with my guy Footy. And the Sens play here again tomorrow night. So get another update for you on Thursday. But Pillsy, any final thoughts on today's show? I think we've decided, though, Brady starts with Timmy and Drake.
Yep, let's do it on Friday up against St. Louis. I want to see that. And good luck on the call. I'll be watching. Stoked to get this opportunity. It's always fun when you get to hear your voice on other platforms than just the podcast medium.
No, it's so much fun, man. And I was telling the boys yesterday, like, I feel a bit far away from it sometimes, especially with the little one. Haven't been able to get back to Ottawa as often as I'd like, obviously, understandably. But really, really excited to get the opportunity here. And also, happy first birthday to my daughter, the Slump Buster.
Huge.
The Senators' record. I got to go find that. But their record since she was born versus the calendar year before she was born. Outrageous. So yeah, we're gonna have a nice dinner party for her tonight, and there are too many balloons in my house right now. That is my final thought. Too many balloons. The balloon of injuries will burst hopefully Friday. Pillsy doesn't even want Brady to play on Wednesday because he is SLing this schedule loss.
I said I'm not SLing it.
Okay,
It's gonna be tough, and I don't like the feeling of it.
And the boys are going to be well fed today. If you missed it, players only on NHL Network. Shane Pinto, after signing the $30 million ticket, he's going to be footing the bill tonight. Team dinner in Vegas. So stay away from glass if we learned anything from the New Jersey Devils.
Plastic cups, please.
Plastic cups. Get the solo cups out and go have a good night tonight, boys. They deserve it. Like, hey, tough loss last night, but it wasn't a lack of effort at all. And the Ottawa Senators are third in the Atlantic Division right now. They have an above 500 record, NHL standards, on the road and at home this year. They're 5-2-3 in their last 10 games. It's been a good start to the season without Brady Tkachuk. So let's build on that. We'll have more tomorrow on the show. For today, we say goodbye. Thank you for liking, watching, listening, and engaging with the show. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan, and this has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.